please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome back to a Megon 2 Electric Boogaloo. Today we're not doing a response video. Today we're going to be talking about bonus holes, or the term bonus hole. If you have access to more than one, congratulations. This term has been doing its rounds. It's been trending on Twitter along with Anna Kasparian because she's mentioned something about this as well. And I thought what we'd do is learn about the bonus hole together because I thought this was a I thought this was a joke. It would be a lot more simple if it were just a joke. But instead, no, eye rolling everywhere. So far you can read your own mind, see how your brain is working. This crap has been going around, it turns out, since 2020, courtesy of Joe's Cervical Cancer Trust, which was in partnership with an LGBT foundation. This is going to get interesting, isn't it? Oh, and by the way, bonus hole isn't the only term. You also have front hole. Ha ha ha. Okay, the urge to cry with laughter, the urge to make a number of crass jokes is quite overwhelming. I want to make so many jokes about this, but I'm not allowed to, not because I've got a sensitive audience, because if you're still here, chances are you're not. No, but instead because I have to kowtow to YouTube's terms of service. Meaning I can't make jokes that might be a little bit edgy, yeah? A little bit sexist. Although on the face of it, front hole, that's something, isn't it? And the bonus hole, oh boy, I didn't realize we were also talking about butt stuff. Or is that the ear, nose, eye socket if there's nothing in there with it? So we'll start with some articles so we can get the context we require before we go to why Anna Kasparian was trending on Twitter, as it does tie into this with one clip from a appearance, podcast with Sitch and Adam. Let me just start by saying to Yahoo, who included a picture of a peach, bravo. Yeah, have a applause for that. After spending a little time on social media today, you may be wondering what is a bonus hole and why is the term and why is it all over your Twitter feed? In 2020, Joe's Cervical Cancer Trust, blah blah blah, I explained earlier. According to their glossary, a bonus hole is an alternative word for the vagina and recommend checking to see which words someone would prefer to use. They also suggest using front hole as an alternative term with the same meaning. On their website, Joe's Cervical Cancer Trust says using the correct language when you're talking about someone's gender identity is a simple and effective way to demonstrate support and recognition. It goes on to say that patients may seek care elsewhere if they feel hurt or distressed when a term is used that doesn't align with their gender identity. If the medical care you require is specific to biological sex, screw your gender identity, you're not there to be recognized, you are there to be treated. The part that can be determined by doctors or anyone with an IQ over 1 as being novelty in the context of medical care can go out the sodding window. Additionally, if you are someone that is getting, let's say, cervical cancer treatment or a screening, and you don't have the bonus hole, the front hole, please do not waste that doctor's time. They are there to do a job for someone whose biological sex and align with that doctor's specialty. Bonus hole went viral on Twitter after conservatives like Ollie London, wait, you wrote Oil London? And Leo Kearse, I don't know who that is. Apparently they're a right-wing UK-based comedian, and Oil London is a UK-based media personality. Yeah, I misread that on purpose. Who are well known for writing a book about their experience detransitioning and the issue of a supposed trans ideology. Basically, Oil London is a TERF. Hang on. But for that to be the case, two things now need to be true. The first is you've ignored the fact that Oil London detransitioned, so their lived experience as trans is being completely disregarded. Interesting, because gender identity, everyone. We only respect it if you're a part of the collective. And second, Oil London needs to identify as a feminist. Don't pigeonhole with the term TERF as an excuse or a way of simply saying, but you disagree with something, so you must be a trans exclusionary radical feminist. That isn't how this shit works. I disagree with children being transition. I also disagree with trans people competing in the sport for the gender they identify with. That does not make me transphobe, trabsphobe, trans-exclusionary. No, I adhere to science. The science says no. Stop being selective science deniers, so that you can respect, as the article here states, the feelings of the individual. When it comes to medical care, your feelings are only relevant when they try and determine how much something hurts. And they don't mean your feelings. They mean the very thing they are there to treat. When I said novelty, when it came to gender identity, don't be so sensitive about that point, because I know someone's going to be. You know what I bloody well meant. Don't be intentionally facetious and or pedantic. The article continues by showing Leo Kears's tweet, which has two images, one from the LGBT Foundation and B bonus hole. Okay, the comment section under these tweets are full of offensive and unfunny jokes and people claiming that women are somehow being hurt by providing an alternative to the word vagina. Basically the standard transphobic conservative rhetoric. Oh look, more buzzy buzzwords. So you can dismiss any jokes because they're not funny, simply as being right-wing reactionary nutjobs who are unable to meme, of course. Alright, they're mocking it because it says bonus hole. It's not compulsory, by the way, and everyone knows that. Which is where others then jump on it and say, but they're not saying it's compulsory, you're just being reactionary. They're memeing it, because it literally says bonus hole as suggestion. Luckily, there are some people on social media who had a more nuanced take on what organizations were actually trying to accomplish when adding the term to their glossary. For example, the actual context is trying to find inclusive language to discuss the anatomy of trans men, but why bother actually reading when you can just get angry and make other people angry for that sweet, sweet clout? I think it's funnier that you're adding context on Twitter, where it is a cesspool, like most social media platforms, for very polarizing positions. In the context of this, ultimately it doesn't matter, because as the article has stated, most people are just mocking it, because bonus hole. And that was a reply to somebody who'd said, we've been reduced to walking glory hole, ladies. How can you not see the humor in that? Okay, time for a revolution doesn't help, but the glory hole ladies part is quite funny. Under Leo's tweet, Mark Northcott, ever the savior, had tweeted, it literally says in the definition, an alternative word for vagina. Not recommended, not mandatory, it even says you should ask what the person's preference is, because this is where you have to respect people's gender identity. The thing about this is, in the UK especially, we've seen over the years how the NHS is changing its language to be what is dubbed more inclusive, but by doing so reducing others solely to their genitals. And by doing it as well, disregarding what it is to be a woman, which has led to the question, what is a woman, going on for a while now. It's getting a bit, well, silly at this point. The desperation to be inclusive and then at the same time disregarding people, seeking to pigeonhole them because apparently having a differing opinion makes you a TERF. Having a differing opinion just makes you a conservative. But that's not the case at all. And if you react in a rather, let's say, emotive manner, you are somehow emotional, irrational. The desperation to disregard any critique, criticism, or parody. That sounds eerily familiar. If only I could put my finger on it. Oh, what am I ever going to do to label that? The article finishes by saying, to be clear, since apparently this has to be spelled out, no one, literally no one, is saying that the world, bonus hole, yes, is mandatory for anyone to use, be they cis, trans, or non-binary. It's simply a suggestion presented for trans men and non-binary people. Folks, this is not hard to grasp. Offering alternative terms to people who are seeking medical treatment is an easy way to be respectful of the gender dysphoria some trans men and non-binary folk may be experiencing. Whether or not you use bonus hole or not should be a personal choice. Sadly, some online just can't or won't understand nuance, and for the TERFs who see this as some sort of vernacular takeover, in the words of some bullshit singer, you need to calm down. I think you need to calm your bonus hole and have a biscuit. Maybe I should put that on a t-shirt next to calm your tits and have a biscuit. Ultimately, I actually don't really care. It amused me, but I can understand the need to try and respect or give people a more safer, inclusive option with language, of course, 100%. However, bonus hole does not explicitly say in its definition for trans men. It does not say that there, it just says an alternative word for the vagina. It is important to check which words someone would prefer to use. It's understandable how people can take that out of context and use it. So Ana Kasparian was trending, and one of the reasons why was this clip, which ties into this, by the way.
I think that protecting, marginalized communities, protecting the transgender community is important. However, when you move out of or move far away from making sure that they are not denied housing, making sure that they're not denied healthcare, when you move into like these more fringe areas of there was a story out of the UK this week, blows my mind. There was an LGBTQ group in the UK who suggested that instead of referring to vaginas as vaginas because it might be offensive to transgender men, one of the potential replacements or substitutes could be bonus hole.
That is literal propaganda.
I took the liberty of going to joestrust.org. I then went to their search bar and typed in bonus hole. I then got from Joe's Cervical Cancer Trust the A to Z. B, bonus hole. It is not propaganda, it is on their website. Okay, how some have spun it is a bit incorrect, but as Anna put it, this is a very odd little corner to go. The Young Turks have later been taking a fair amount of flack for their trans positions, which is quite impressive because I actually, on a recent politics stream, ended up agreeing with Cenk Uygur. I haven't agreed with Chunks for years, but when he and Ana Kasparian are correct, they're correct. They're not transphobes. Stop trying to pigeonhole people with some thought-terminating cliche. How about instead you give it a moment and think and stop acting on your feelings? With no level of irony, when you then deny others their feelings by using a thought-terminating cliche to try and silence and or cancel them. It is tragic at this point that people still act this way because of changes in society. This is a change that now has to happen because mistakes were made. In the United Kingdom, gender clinics were closed. Many more are opening, yes, but lessons had to be learned to make these progresses. Yeah, it was not propaganda. I'll link it in the pinned comment down below.